Good morning and welcome to your Wednesday morning, early morning intuitive guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum here with some words of wisdom to get you off to a good start for the day and give you some things to ponder throughout the course of the day. So it was really fun, this particular card deck. I got the hit that I needed to dig to the bottom of one of the heaps and pick out one of the card decks. And so the one that actually surfaced was the Wild Offering deck by Tosha Silver. And obviously we haven't seen that in a while because it was hiding at the bottom of the pile. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you are here. You are the first one popping on. So we'll wait for some of our tribe of practical rebels to join us here and jump in with this card. But it was interesting because this particular word that's on this card kind of sprinkled itself throughout my morning. So I was doing my Deepak meditation, and this particular word popped up in that meditation. And as I was just about to hit the go live button, I glanced to the left at the screen, my computer screen, which is still up, and the word that caught my attention was this very same word. So I'm really feeling like we're going to be steeped in this for the day. So we're just waiting for a few more of my peeps to pop on here. I gotta grab a drink quick too. Now that fall is here, things are starting to get a little dry. Good morning, Cindy. Here we go. Now I see people coming in. And we've got two more on who you're not popping up, but I'm glad you're here. There's Gwen. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. There's Mel. Good morning. Old Home Week. Everybody's popping in. This is good. So again, we have a card from the Wild Offering deck by Tosha Silver. Good morning, Beth. Welcome. All the regulars right here, right now. This is good. Get our little tribe of practical rebels combined together. So when I glanced to the side and looked at the computer screen, what I saw was trusting nature's course. Trusting nature's course. And remember yesterday when we were talking, there were three things that popped up as ways to achieve what we were aiming for yesterday, one of which was being in nature. Kind of the slowing things down, simplifying your life, being in nature, etc. So today, trust. And I love the art on this one. Katie Daisy is the artist who did all of the cards in this deck, and most of them, good morning Lucy, welcome, glad you're here. Most of the cards have a floral theme to it. This one has, to me, feels more like, I don't know, winter, celestial, something. Good morning Carolyn, welcome. Welcome, everybody's popping on. So trust is our word for the day. So let's just take a few moments and breathing in through the crown chakra and down through your entire body. Grounding through your feet into Mother Earth, in through the crown chakra, down through your whole body. Grounding, rooting, sending your roots deep into Mother Earth. So again, you have that groundedness, you're anchored, you're solid, you aren't going to be tipped over. But the branches can still move, right? Reaching for the heavens. So you've got this and going on. And we've talked about the and, right? It's not either or. Either I'm sailing among the stars or I'm grounded to Mother Earth. You can do both. You can do both. And it takes practice to do so because we're so used to either this or that. Now we have and, a lot of and. Good morning, Linda. Glad you are here. Our card for today is trust. Trust. So just breathing that in. Some nice deep belly breaths. Making sure your abdomen is rising and falling and your chest isn't moving so much, okay? When you are anxious, you tend to breathe into your chest. We want the belly breath. You might want to put your hand on your belly as you're breathing to make sure it's moving, okay? If you watch babies and toddlers when they're sleeping, their bellies are moving when they're breathing. Let's get the breath going. Get that in. Yep. Trust. So here are our words for the day. And again, just open up the intuitive ear that part of you that knows what it is out of this that you need to hear. Good morning, Joe Bell. Glad you are here. Yep, keep breathing. And I'll post it right afterwards. So if it keeps acting up, you can just watch the recording instead. All right, trust. When love is invited to take over, right actions arise at the right time. Allow me, dear divine, to wait patiently until the timing is right. Let me rest in the unknown until a clear path is shown. So Cindy, if you wouldn't mind putting that last piece in the feed, I rest in the unknown until a clear path is shown. I rest in the unknown until a clear path is shown. Breathe that. Breathe it for a moment. See what you notice. What comes up when you think about doing that? Thank you, Cindy. Greatly appreciated. You're so good at that. I don't know how you do that. Catch all of it at once. You've got a great memory. So when you think about resting in the unknown until a clear path is shown, what comes to mind? I don't like that unknown. It's uncomfortable. Acknowledge that. Acknowledge if it feels uncomfortable to you to not have a clear path for a period of time. Hopefully what you can do, there we go. Cool. I still think you're brilliant, but that's okay. When we can't see the path clearly, when we're kind of waiting for our marching orders, if you want to think about it that way, the risk is that we ruminate on the discomfort of not quite knowing yet, blow that up and make it too big, and then we preempt Spirit guiding us by making a preliminary decision, by prematurely deciding what path we're going to take when we don't have enough information yet to make a good choice. We're so interested in getting rid of the discomfort that we jump the gun. And then it doesn't go well. It doesn't go well. So how do we bide the time? Doesn't mean you're sitting there picking your nose. It means that you're actively involved with your current world, waiting for those little guidances that, what deck this is from? This is from the Wild Offering deck by Tosha Silver. Waiting for those little guidances that go, come this way, not that way. Go here, not there. Call this person, not that person. Watch this webinar, this free webinar. Take this class. Google this, Google that, whatever. We'll be led. We will be led. But again, if we're running around willy-nilly trying to figure out the right path, we're not going to allow to be led. So breathe. Take some breaths again. I allow Spirit to lead me. Feel into that. What does that feel like to you? Can you go, yeah, I can do this. I'm waiting now. I'll follow Spirit. Or are you like, oh, crap. No, I don't know where I'm going. I have to trust that I'll be led in the right direction. This is scary. I think I'm going to hide. I think I'm going to run screaming into the night. Breathe. Faith and trust. Faith and trust. And think about that. Faith and trust. Neither one of those is a 4-letter word. You are the willy-nilly kind. There you go. All right. Well, let's address that. Let's address that with the breath. Breathe and receive. And breathe and receive. Just pause the willy-nilliness. Is that a word? It is now. Pause the willy-nilliness. Okay, I'm just going to catch my breath here. I'm going to share my breath here. I'm going to breathe into, ventilate whatever's going on right here, right now. Because when you do so, there's amazing things that happen. A, you might become aware of how you're stonewalling yourself. Man, I'm getting in my way by doing X. I had an epiphany yesterday where I was handing over my power to someone else, waiting for that person to make some decisions. No. Bringing that back in with the breath. This is my power. This is my decision. I was on my third third community organizing call last night, and one of the speakers was just dynamic. She was all over the stuff of picking an issue. Pick something. Make sure. I'm going to read some of that to you because it's just so cool. It was like, wow, never thought about it this way. In fact, I never thought about community organizing at all. But now I do. And so, there's one other one I got to share that it was just really cool. They call it cutting an issue. So if there's a major thing going on, let's say it's the inequity with regard to women, okay? That's the major issue. Cutting an issue is taking a chunk of that and addressing it. So this particular group had cut an issue on women in prison in Wisconsin give birth in shackles. How draconian. Where do you think she's going to run when she's giving birth? Hello. So they have cut an issue on the big thing, the main campaign is equity for women. Cutting an issue, the one little piece that they picked out that they are hammering on with the governor and other the director of corrections, etc., is this issue of women giving birth in shackles, and making an issue out of that and pulling that little piece out to address. So, first of all, getting awareness, right? So they have 6 criteria for cutting an issue. The first one is it winnable? Is this a piece that can be won? In this case, yes. All that has to be passed is whatever legislation that it is no longer legal for women to have to give birth in shackles. Second one is it tangible? Can it be measured? Yes, certainly you can measure that. You can see how many women per year are giving birth in prisons in shackles and change that. Is it something we care about? Hopefully now that you've heard about it, you care about it. That is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. It has a timeline. In other words, by when do you want to get this done? And they were having some interesting conversation about that because one woman said there's something that everybody seems to agree on that has been languishing in, I think it was the House of Representatives in Wisconsin. I'm not sure which chunk. 7 years. 7 years. They can't get it done. Come on, people. What the heck? There was another one that, again, was a very logical thing, and there isn't opposition to it. It's just they're not getting it done. 3 years. 3 years. How long does this stuff take, people? Let's get this stuff done. Do not let the wheels of bureaucracy keep common sense things from happening. Keep humane things from happening. I cannot imagine having to give birth in shackles. It has a target. Who are we targeting? So in that particular case, that group, Esther, is targeting the governor, and there was another group that was involved too. Let me think of it. FREE, F-R-E-E. And I don't remember what their acronym stands for. It's a Wisconsin group. But they're the ones leading the charge in terms of who are we talking to about this? Who's the target? The governor and the director of corrections. Those are their target people. And it advances the values and narratives that we're trying to put forth. So with that one, they said it's not a good issue if it undercuts a broader aim. For example, with school systems, you don't win music programs, good morning, Judy, if all that does is cut money from art programs. That's not a win, okay? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. And this group and this particular woman, her name is Peggy West Schroeder. She's a force to be reckoned with. I can just tell. That was my first time meeting her and watching her speak. And she is a force to be reckoned with. She's going to get stuff done. Another one of her initiatives was when COVID was so bad in the prison system and prisoners were dying of COVID, pushing for reform on that front. Inhumane to keep people in circumstances where they're sitting ducks for COVID and death. So And she had a term here that I'm going to, that one of the other ladies did, that I'm going to adopt because I think it will fit with our practical rebel approach very well. And Cindy, if you can put this in the feed, I would love it. It's called relentless incrementalism. Relentless incrementalism. You just keep chewing at it. The same way a drop of water will eventually erode a rock, we just keep chewing away at this stuff. So regardless that those things have been languishing in government, Wisconsin government, for 7 years, 3 years, etc., they just keep chewing at it a little bit at a time. Sometimes it's bigger things. They talked about their ways of going about action things. Do they do letter writing campaigns? Do they have call-in days? They actually irritated the governor's office at one point where they did a call-in thing, mobilized a whole bunch of people to call the governor's office at the same time, locked up his phone system for an hour and a half, and got some, okay, let's talk about this. Let's move this forward. This isn't working. You shutting down our phone system. She had one, too, that I really thought was cool, called Chalk Talk. And Chalk Talk basically was, you know that guy who holds up the cardboard signs? Everybody knows that guy who holds up the cardboard signs with his opinions on them, right? This is, you put a message on a chalkboard, you hold it up, someone takes a picture, and you put it all over your social media. I just thought that was a very cool idea. I may be utilizing that one in terms of the intentional community stuff. Let's get the information out there. Did you know the fastest increasing group of people unhomed in Wisconsin, in my county, Outagamie County, is elderly. It's elderly people. This is bullshit. So, but many people don't know that. Or it's been in the newspaper and they kind of read the paper while they're sipping their coffee, but it didn't really register. On the other hand, if I say to you, the fastest growing group of unhomed people in Outagamie County are homeless people, are elderly people, I'm hoping some of you right now, there's 10 of you on this call who went, oh, that struck a nerve, right? This is not acceptable. This is not okay. Okay? So what we're doing, hopefully addressing that. Is it going to address it for everybody? Maybe not. Is it going to address it for a whole lot of folks? I hope so. I hope so. So that was some of the stuff I learned that I thought was just so cool. And again, part of that whole process, that community organizing process, is trust. Trust in your ability to make a difference. Trust in your ability to mobilize people to make stuff happen. Trust, trust, trust. So what about for you right now? What is something about which you would like to feel trust? Yes, Beth, exactly. There was one man, that Vietnam vet, who had COPD. He was living in a tent along the Days River when I had the motel. And they were finally able to place him in the motel on an emergency basis. So he was safe. Then all kinds of health issues broke. With COPD, it was November, I think. He was heating his tent with propane. You know, this is ridiculous. Yes, that is actually a piece. And there's another whole piece that's about to hit the fan. When you think about people who buy homes and they get a particular interest rate, and during COVID, we had a lot of programming in place that allowed people to buy homes. That funding is going to change. If they were variable rate mortgages, oftentimes when people take steps into something they've never done before, like a mortgage, they don't read all the fine print. So some of them are going to be hit with double and triple the interest rate. It's going to drive them out of their homes. And where are they going to go? We don't have enough homes for them, right? So again, yes, and especially one shelter in Menominee. Where was I? The shelter moved. Oh, that was the Escanaba area. The shelter moved I think it was every month. When you have people who have mental illness that's untreated, how the hell are they going to keep track of, okay, it's this church this month where we can stay. And it's that church that month where we can stay. They can't track that stuff, and how dangerous is that in the UP in January to be struggling with mental illness and homelessness? Not good, not good. So one of the things that I believe, and there are people who will give me crap about this, is we as a society are only as strong as our weakest link. We are only as strong as our weakest link. So we need to start lifting up people who don't have the capacity to lift themselves up. I'm preaching here. You all know where I come from on this stuff anyway, right? Those of us who are capable need to use some of our capabilities to support those who aren't capable. Yes, exactly. So we need to address these issues. Most countries that are as advanced as we are have much more programming in place to address these kinds of issues. All these kinds of issues, right? The US, not so much. And we've romanticized that thing of being independent, being on your own, fixing everything by yourself, blah, blah. I'm sorry. There are people who aren't capable of doing that. And we need to be of support to them. And there are people whose life circumstances have created a health concern. I mean, I thought it was fabulous when they finally got around to not destroying people's credit ratings over healthcare issues. You have leukemia and your finances go to hell. That should not be what trashes your credit rating, therefore making it more difficult for you to do any of the things you need to do to help yourself. Duh. So we got a lot of work to do. And everybody pick something. You don't have to do everything. Just pick something. What's most important to you? Getting parity in pay, bringing up, supporting daycare stuff here is horrendous. Childcare is horrendous. People can't afford that. You're making $15 an hour at McDonald's. You can't pay for your kid to be in daycare. This is ridiculous. So, faith and trust. Pick some issue that's important to you and find the group that's doing it. In Wisconsin, most of those groups go by a biblical name. There's Esther. There's a zillion of them. All right? Even just Google Esther, Wisconsin, and see what comes up. Find a need and fill it. If you have time, if you have resources, do something. It can be little. Once a month, I go stuff envelopes for whoever. I don't care. Do something. Take a bag with you. Pick up garbage as you're walking around. Little. All right? So, trust. What are some things that you want to develop more trust for you in? And then put that trust out there in other ways. What you give, you receive tenfold, at least tenfold. All right. Something else I want to suggest that you do is write down some of this stuff that you've trusted on and it's paid off. Keep a running list, because then when you're in the, nothing ever works for me, dig out your list and look at it. So I'm going to show you my list. My little card says dream, plan, do. Since I moved back here, one side, two sides, and part of a third one. And I haven't always been as diligent with this as I could be. There we go, diaper distribution at church. Yes. And applause to California. Good morning, Ruth Ann. Applause to California for finally getting rid of the pink tax. So no longer taxed on diapers and feminine hygiene products. Come on, people. Those are basics. We need those. All right? And it's been many years since I've had to buy a pack of diapers, but I ended up using cloth because diapers were so bloody expensive. So little steps. Trust. Cool. So I'd love to have you. Good morning, Rebecca. We are just about done, but I'll post the replay as soon as we're finished. I got on my soapbox a little bit, so be prepared. So Trust. What is it you want to have more trust in? Do you want to trust in the divine, that everything is unfolding in divine right timing and divine right order? Okay? So I'm going to read it again and then we're done. Trust. When love is invited to take over, right actions arise at the right time. Allow me, dear divine, to wait patiently until the timing is right. Let me rest in the unknown until a clear path is shown, and then step forward. Fabulous, Gwen. I love that. Grants to give away diapers. Again, more of a woman's issue. We need to be shoring each other up here. I want you to see that image again of us locking arms and we're walking together. We are much more stable, solid, and a force to be reckoned with when we lock arms as women. So have an awesome day. Think about the trust issue. Feel into that for yourself. Let's see where it goes. We'll see you again tomorrow. And remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.